Hello?
Hi, Will.
Hello? Hey, how you doing?
I'm great.
Okay, so just like the last caller, I'm going to be very respectful. I don't think it's right for people to tell you how to wear your hair or what to believe. That's your God-given right.
It's gay.
Yeah. So, but I do have an opinion on this from a medical standpoint. So, you feel that if a person gets pregnant, whether they get raped, whether they make a poor decision in life, end up having a baby, even if they don't want it, whether it gives them health risk and they have the possibility of dying, that they should just bring the baby in the world and they have the prerogative to decide to parent it or not. And if they don't, they can leave it in the world to be however they want it to be. Because if I make a mistake, if I get raped and I'm a woman and I decide that I don't want to live looking at that baby knowing what happened, and I decide to move on. And now that baby has to live in this world. I don't know if you've talked to kids that are adopted. Some people have great lives, some people don't. Depends on how on that individual. So now that person is forced to go through life all because people are pro-life for an embryo that does not actually have consciousness yet.
Yeah, I hear
What
you.
do you think about
Yeah,
that?
you know what, Will? Me personally, I just feel like a baby that was conceived out of rape shouldn't receive a death sentence. I stand on that.
Okay, but maybe a death. Okay, so some people feel like death is is kind of a blessing in comparison to some people's life.
Yeah, some people
Well,
worship
think
death.
about it.
Some people do a lot of demonic things that I don't stand by. You know,
I understand
you
that. I
conceive death.
understand that, but
That's not of God.
I mean, God is of everything. Everything good and everything bad is of God
It's
because
not of Christ.
everything in life God creates. So if God
Right? Create.
knows all and He made okay, so if God creates all and He knows all, then He knew that evil was going to come. He knew that angels was going to fall and people were going to make bad decisions, and there was a purpose in it all. It doesn't mean that we should make the decision on what. Okay, if every day was a sunny day, then what's a sunny day? If everything was good, then how would you appreciate what's good if there was never any bad? So, how would you be smart? How would you learn to be better at something if you never failed? So, my whole point in saying that is everything in life has a purpose and has a meaning, and it doesn't just because you feel a certain way about life based on your perspective doesn't mean there's some people that live on this earth who were forced into that position. They didn't get the chance to have a mother and father because maybe their mother and father didn't want them. So now you force them to be born. Now they have a crappy life. No, anything could happen. I'm just having you look at both perspectives.
Oh, trust
I
me,
don't agree
trust me,
on.
trust me. Will, I've heard both perspectives a million billion people. This is a very common argument that I get, and all I will say is, it seems like the concern that you have about the baby's outlook on life, the questions you have are to God, okay, not to me, because God is the one who created the pregnancy. God is the one who allowed the baby to be conceived. So
I
all these
disagree.
concerns of people, you disagree that God creates life?
I disagree. God created life, but God created life to duplicate itself. He didn't create the life. You created it when you had the baby. If you fix something to
What do
eat,
you mean had
wait,
the
no, no,
baby?
hold on, hold on,
Sir,
hold on.
sir, no
If
need
you,
to scream. Hold on. Let's
oh
not.
no, I apologize. I didn't mean it in an aggressive way. I
Okay.
apologize. I
All
didn't
right.
mean it in an aggressive way. If you make a decision to take action to fix a sandwich, God did not create that sandwich. If you make a decision to, if you,
Listen,
hold on,
I hear where
hold
you're
on.
going. Listen, I appreciate the analogies, but I just want to keep it very simple, okay? God, do you
That
think
is
that
very
God is the
simple.
creator of life? Yes or no?
Yes, God is the creator of all
All
life.
right. So, because God is the creator of life, do you think that we, as His creations, have the right to destroy said life?
Well, you didn't say that if you ate a steak. That used to be an animal. Plants are life.
God gave us dominion over the plants and animals, though. We're talking about humans.
and he gave us dominion over the earth to make a decision.
But God
He
also
gave us
said,
free will.
do not murder. What commandment is that?
He, he said what?
Do not murder.
He said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Murder.
Okay, but murder. You have to be alive. What's the definition of what is a life? Because basically, your body
You should
is
look up
home to a
definition of
bunch of
murder.
different organisms.
You should look up murder.
I mean, but murder. Okay, but murder, you'd have to be a sentient, conscious being. An embryo is not. An embryo, there are amoebas that have more action than the embryo. So you have to define what you mean by life.
I think, listen,
Everything, I mean,
listen,
like,
listen, Mr. Will, listen. The truth is written on your heart. Okay? You know what's right and what's wrong. We can sit here and have this debate, but honestly, I feel like it's a waste of time. Okay?
that's because you,
If you are okay with destroying a life that was created by God, that's on you. But me, I don't stand for that. And I do not feel like my tax dollars as a voter should be going towards these things. Now, if women want to kill their children, there are back alleyways, there are hangers, okay? But the tax dollars coming out of my husband's checks, I don't think so. And so that's why I'm on Vigo and on other social media platforms encouraging women to close those legs unless it's to their husbands. Because creating these broken homes and killing all these kids on my dime ain't it. So listen, Mr. Will, I have somebody else in my box. I'm going to move on, but I appreciate you for the pretty kind dialogue, okay? Thank you so much.
all right.
Thank you.